so it's still good.
Yeah, hurry up.
It's okay. Get it all out of your system now. We're not playing this game, okay? All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Uprooted podcast. It's your girl, Ruta, aka Hannah. I'm not going to keep explaining this every episode. It just is what it is at this point. And today I'm doing a special episode with my young cousins, I just wanted to make sure that I also have this platform out for them too, because they're going through shit just like we are. So today I have some of my favorites with me. And first of all, let's go ahead and introduce the one and only man that decided to show up today, my young cuz. He kind of gives me a headache sometimes, but I still love him. And he is none other than Yosef.
Hi guys, my name is Yosef. I'm 15. I'm in high school.
All right. Well, it was nice meeting you, Yosef. So next, I have this beautiful young lady next to me, my little rider. You feel me? I take her everywhere with me all the time. Before she didn't have a choice, but now she likes going. So I have my young cousin, Fabu.
Hi, I'm Fabian. I'm in high school too, and I'm 16.
Look at you guys, just so cute. And I have my beautiful god sister all the way from Seattle. Okay, so Seattle is in the fucking building once again. It's like y'all love to take over this podcast, but I have this beautiful woman not next to me. I have this beautiful god sister of mine. Her name is Naomi.
Hello, my name is Naomi. I'm 17 years old and I'm a junior in high school.
I wasn't lying when I said the youngins is taking over. I ain't been in high school in 10 years, y'all. So this will be interesting to see what they have to say. Yosef, yes, 10 years. I'm old. Y'all can do the math if you want. If you've been following the podcast, we've been talking a lot about dating, relationships. The last episode that came out this week, we started talking about our identity as Habeshas in America and how we relate to the Black identity as well. And I kind of want to take it a little bit left from there. I want to talk about how it is for your generation growing up, since most of you have older cousins like me in your life, you know what I mean, that can kind of be a buffer between your parents and teach you guys the things that nobody taught us. We had to kind of learn it on our own. I really want to know how it's been for you growing up as the younger kids in your household. I know, Naomi, you're the oldest technically. What is wrong with you guys?
I'm looking out the window.
I do. He's like,
Oh God. Does anyone want to speak to their experience first? Yosef, you wanted to be on this podcast so bad. You better have something to say.
You gotta okay, what's your experience raising a bunch of younger cousins that how do you look at us?
How do I look at you guys?
Yeah, how do you what do you expect from us?
she knows I'm just like beautiful queen. Yeah. I think Yosef says.
This is what I deal with all day. So I do refer to you guys as the kids. I know that you guys are a little bit grown now. I know y'all are y'all probably getting into stuff that I used to get into. But for some reason, I always look at you guys like the kids, you're just young. I got to take care of you all the time. And I try my hardest to stop babying you guys, because I know you're capable of doing more. But I feel like you get it a little bit easier than I had it. My parents expected me to do everything. I had to translate all the paperwork for them. I'm the one that literally watch your brother. Watch him. He's 2 years younger than me. You need to be watching both of us. You know what I mean? But it's kind of that thing where you always feel responsible for your younger siblings. So sometimes I feel more of a parental role, but I try really hard to balance it and not act like your parents.
Mm-hmm. I feel like people that are older than us, how do I say it? It's yeah, they're older than us, and they still look at us as we're 5. It's always oh yeah, you can't do this, you can't do that. Some things I understand they're reasonable, but at the same time, I'm not 5. I don't need a babysitter 24/7.
Okay. Speak more about that. Can you give me a specific example?
If I want to go somewhere and it's not really you guys, I feel it's what our parents expect from you guys to take care of us. It's like, for example, if I want to go somewhere, I'm not really allowed to go somewhere without like somebody else watching over me. But like I didn't know like it was so complicated. Like I didn't know it was so complicated to like go to like the mall or something without like somebody watching me. Like that's how like the parents expect for you guys from like the older generation, they expect from you guys is to watch over us 24/7.
I'd rather just drop you off and come pick you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what we like, we prefer that also. Like we don't want to be with you guys 24/7. Like we want to do our own thing, but at the same time our parents are still have their own opinions, and whatever they say goes.
How about you, Naomi?
I kind of relate because like I'm the type of person who's like I like to be independent, and I think of myself as like because I'm so like Betty, my little sister, she looks up to me. I feel like I have to be more mature in a way. You know what I mean? I relate to what Yosef was saying about how like going to the mall without like having someone watching you, because like I hated that because like my dad would like always text me every like 30 minutes like how I'm doing or something. It was annoying, but I understand like safety wise is like I would like if I was in that position I would think like acting the same as well.
Yeah, and I think some of the fear for those of us who are a little older is like we know what we were getting into, you know what I mean, when we were your guys' age, so we're like, oh, you know, like we're like,
but it's like at the same time we're not going to listen to you guys. Like we have to learn for ourselves, because even if you guys say like, oh, I went through this and like it ended bad, we're still going to be like, okay,
Just like you guys have experiences, like you guys try to cancel out some of our experiences because your experiences went bad, and then we're like what the heck, like we're just left like clueless about what could actually happen.
I literally was talking to Fabe about this the other day, that there's some things that we're just like, I don't want them to be hurt, like their safety, like your physical safety, but then there's also like that emotional, mental safety too. We're like literally, so the first part of the podcast, we're talking about relationships, right? We're talking about dating. We've gotten our heart broke, you know what I mean? Like we've dealt with all those kind of things. And so sometimes I feel like myself, like I can tell I'm being overprotective because I'm like, damn, like I know what this heartbreak felt like for me. So like, I don't want you guys to have to go through it. But at the same time, like I wouldn't be the woman that I am today if I didn't go through those things, you know? So go ahead.
Like you guys have had your own experiences to turn you guys into people you are today, and like you guys looking at us, like some of those experiences probably went really bad, some of them went good, and like looking down on us, you guys don't want the same thing to happen to us, because like it feels really hard on you guys wouldn't want the same on us. But at the same time, like we need those experiences to turn into adults. And like someday we're gonna be living by ourselves, and like how can we always do that? Like how can we always do that with somebody like telling us what to do or not to do?
Yeah, that's what, like, because we have to experience it ourselves. Because like I don't know, it's like I like, especially with Habashas, they'll be like your older siblings or like your older cousins, and then you're like, so what? Do you not like you're not your own person to them? It's like you have to follow the footsteps.
That's true. Let's dig in there. So I know what it feels like, me being the oldest and the one that usually the parents are comparing you guys to me, you know? And I don't even like it. So like, what does that really feel like to you guys? Like,
no, we're not the same people as y'all. Like we are our own people. Like we like two different personalities, maybe like two different childhoods, definitely. Like we were raised differently, but at the same time, like we still have our similarities. But our parents, like they like, since you guys turned out so well, they want to turn us into you. So like it's kind of unfair that we can't do our own things unless you guys haven't done it. Like I'm just like, I didn't know like I have to be exactly like them in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah, because I get you, Yosef, because like I'll be trying to do stuff and my mom will be like, Mimi didn't do that when she was your age, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it makes you think like, so am I not doing it right? Like, do I have to follow them? Like, can I not be my own person?
I know Naomi's a little bit different for you since you're the oldest.
I mean, it's kind of like I have to teach my parents how to do things because like it's their first time because I'm the oldest. So like me like getting my license, I have to explain the process of like everything. It's like next year I'm gonna be graduating, so like they're gonna be with me like filling out applications for colleges and filling out stuff for like scholarships. and me being the first one to graduate in high school in the family. And also, like, I'm teaching them so they know what to do with Betty. You know what I mean? So, like, it'll be easier for them. Like, when I'm gone, they'll know what to do with Betty.
Like, kudos to your parents for even, like, knowing that they need to help you with that. Because my parents, their version of helping me with that, and this is, I think, the old, like, me being the generation above you, you know, was our parents did it, like, they never knew what the process of even applying to college was. You know what I mean? Like, financial aid was like this mystical thing to them. Like, they didn't know any of that stuff. So I literally had to learn that stuff myself, to be proactive and ask the questions and like fill out my stuff myself and ask my parents for those things. So like, I relate to you, Naomi, on that, because it's like, it's like, oh, like, you know, it's hard. And then sometimes I feel resentful towards my parents because I'm like, damn, like, I wish you guys could help me more with this, but at the same time, this is not the country they grew up in, so I can't expect them to know how to do all those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like for you all, like, you're kind of hinting at it, but what does it actually like feel like? Like, do you feel like your older siblings or your older cousins or whoever like also adds onto that? Like, because I know I've said it, I know your siblings have said it, Faven, where we're like, well, I didn't get to do that when I was 14. I didn't get to do that when I was 15. And like, I know for us, sometimes we get jealous and we get like mad because we had to like suffer through stuff. So like, we had to learn the hard way, and then you guys just get shit handed to you.
I feel like it's simply because like you guys were firstborn. You had to like introduce our parents into like more of like the American way, I guess. I don't really know, but like you guys saying now that like we have less responsibilities than you guys and like less problems to worry about, and like we have more time on our hands, so we're like younger doing what you guys did, and you guys were a little bit older than us, and that's where you guys are like, what the heck, like you're at this age doing this, I wasn't at that age doing that. And it was like, of course, because you guys were too busy like helping our parents.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like the older generation was too busy helping our parents transform into like the American life than to actually have a childhood.
Yeah, like they were going through it together. Mm-hmm.
Like you guys were taking care of like the whole family, and then you guys didn't really have a childhood. So then now you guys looking back on us, and we're like doing a lot of stuff now, and you guys are like, what the heck? I wasn't doing this at your age. And it was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But it's like the same time, like you guys gotta understand, like time has changed. So like obviously, you know what I mean?
I told you it's been 10
like,
years since I've been in high school. So like I know time has changed, okay? But I also feel like we're nervous for you guys because you're also being exposed to more. You know what I mean? Like you have people have too much access to you from your phone. You guys are on social media all day. You're seeing like the good, the bad, the ugly of what the world is. And like, there's only so much that we can protect you guys from.
I mean, but that's like, I think that's fair, honestly. Like we're preparing ourselves for our lives currently. Our generations have two different like things to like stress over and complain about and worry about.
So how does it feel like for you? Like, do you feel like it affects you guys? Or what are some of the positive and negative things that you feel like growing up with social media? What do you mean? What do I mean?
By your question, like.
So like I'm saying, so for me, I'm definitely going to age myself here, okay? We had MySpace when I was in high school, okay? That was like, it had just barely started like getting popping in high school, okay? Our biggest problem was choosing the top 8. You feel me? It wasn't like this. Like you know what I'm saying? Like we didn't have, like you posted kind of, but we also had limited access to internet because it's still dial-up.
Okay, but I feel like that was the same for our childhoods too. Not for high school, because that's like a whole different thing. But like middle school and like middle school and stuff, I feel like that was almost the same. Like we weren't even allowed to use our phones in class. Like we had to like turn it off and put it in our backpacks.
But you had a smartphone, so you have access. Like our phones literally only had texting and like email. Like, you know what I'm saying? They didn't like, and then we got into high school and then you had like a sidekick. So then you had like AIM, like instant messenger. You know what I mean?
Any of those things are.
I know you're not supposed to use your phone in class, but let's be honest, you guys definitely use your phone in class. Like, let's not lie about it. You guys are definitely using your phone in class. It's fine. I'm not mad at you. I could care less. But I'm just trying to see how that has affected you guys growing up, where it's like you guys share more pictures in a day than we probably shared in a month.
Nobody could access me. Like, I don't have anything on my Instagram. I have private stories for my Snapchat. Like, nobody will see my private life unless I want them to. That's what I feel like we can control instead of like it's all just being out there for everybody. Like, you could even have a private Instagram and only accept people that you want to be accepted. Like, it's not just everybody could like go on and see our life and like what happens. It's like selective.
That's what I was about to say. It's like you're the one who's like controls how much people know of you, you know? So it's not that bad.
I feel like I've been exposed to a lot more than you guys have at your age, though. That's a fact.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you guys literally go on your phone and you're seeing all types of like craziness all the time. There's so much that you guys see all day on your phones that like we weren't constantly berated by it. Like, it was a choice for us whether we wanted to be informed or not. I feel like for you guys, it's not really a choice. Like, whether you want to or not, when you get on your phone, you're going to see a lot of people posting things, reposting things, and you're going to continue to get it. Unless, like you're saying, you guys are controlling what you want to see and what you don't want to see. Mm-hmm. But I feel like even then, shit, one of your friends retweets or reposts or whatever, like, it's on your timeline again.
Like, I feel like it's helping us, though. Honestly, I feel like social media is helping us. Like, I've learned a lot from social media. Like, in school, basically, you just learn about, like, school. Like, you don't learn about anything else that, like, you don't learn about anything else in school. And I feel like social media has helped us a lot, like, grow up faster.
Yeah, like, going to, like, what Yosef said, because, like, when Rita was talking, I was like, yeah, like, we see a lot, but it's also, like, a wake-up call. Like, we know reality. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, we know what we're stepping into as soon as we leave this house. Like, you guys, no offense, but you guys are pretty clueless. Like, you guys didn't know what really was, like, you guys didn't know what was happening in the world unless you saw it on the TV screen. And on top of that, like, you don't see a lot on there.
And it's, like, back to, like, what you guys are saying, how you guys want to, like, protect us, is, like, we see it on the internet, or, like, we see what our friends go through, like, their experiences, so we know what to put ourselves into and not. Like, that's why we said, like, we can live for ourselves, you know?
Like, you guys trying to protect us and us trying to do stuff is two entirely different situations, because we're two, like, your guys' middle school / high school age and our middle school / high school age is like two different worlds, basically. You can't compare them at all. So you guys trying to protect us, I feel, is like, how are you guys going to protect us if you guys don't even know, like, what's really happening with us?
I don't think they're really that different. And even from what you tell me, I don't think that it's more outrageous than what we were doing. We just didn't have it recorded. Like, we just didn't have it posted anywhere. But I do think that your generation's starting younger than we started, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, the things you guys are getting into, like, you're starting at a much younger age, and then more people think that the shit is normal. Like, they think it's cool. Like, why are you having a baby shower in middle school, my nigga? Like, that's not cool. Do you know what I mean? Like, those type of things are like, whoa, chill out. It's not like people weren't getting down and busy or whatever when it was my age, but it was more like kind of hush hush. It wasn't put on the ground, you know, like, so it's just like you didn't tell anybody about it. So how do you feel like that too, especially Naomi? I feel like yours is a unique perspective because you're still the oldest, even though you're in the same age range as them.
I think, like, for me, I probably get like 90% of the news on like social media. So like everything I know is like basically on my phone. And then I feel like, I don't know if it's only with like Habashas, but there's like a sense of like censorship in Habashas, and so like trying to protect us from seeing stuff. But like it's kind of useless because like we'll basically see it on the internet, you know?
I have a question for you. Like, do you feel fearful for Betty, like, when she's our age? Or like, are you scared for what she's gonna be stepping into?
I don't think I'm not scared, because like I feel like I'll just teach her what to avoid and like what to do in certain situations. I'm not trying to say I'm gonna censor stuff from her, but like I'm gonna try to make her be aware of things. I'm not gonna hide stuff from her, because like there's no point, she's already gonna know stuff. I'm just gonna teach her what to do in situations and like basically what she's gonna find out later in life.
So that brings up like my question, right? Which is, I am not dumb. I know you guys are being bombarded by like stuff all day long. So I'm not even gonna pretend like y'all don't know the stuff that I know, right? I'm more like, do you actually feel like you're getting accurate knowledge from these sources, or do you feel like you want to come and talk to your older siblings about it, or your older cousins, and like ask us questions like, oh, what does this mean? You know, like, what is this actually about? Like, because I don't know, like, I know for me, like, I have these conversations with you all the time, but like, I don't talk to every single one of you, obviously, you know what I mean, in terms of everything that's going on with you. So do you feel like you have that in your life if you ever need it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like, no offense, but I feel like you guys would be my last resort in a way. Because, like, I have so many other sources to, like, figure out what's happening. Or, like, even I would rather go to, like, my own friends, honestly, than, like, I would go to my own friends first. Because I feel like they would understand more of what I'm talking about. And then, like, if they don't even know what I'm talking about, then I would come to you guys. Like I said, it's like two different generations, two different worlds.
And going on to like what Yosef would say, like, yeah, I would actually like go talk to my friends first or something. Or even if I'm like, not even like something I found on the internet, if I'm like, if something happened to me or like did this or something, like, I would talk to them first, because we grew up, like, even watching the moms, like, we grew up in our community where everyone's business is spread. So like at the same time, that's half of the reason sometimes we don't want to talk to you guys, because we're like, well, if I tell you, you're gonna go tell her, then and it's just like Habesha's judge. So then you're just like, I'd rather keep it to myself, or like tell my
It's
friends.
not even parents, it's everybody. Like, you can't, like, you can't go to one Habesha and expect to not to have another Habesha ask you about it the next day. Like, that's just not how it works. Like you're gonna find out it will spread eventually. So I just find it easier to go to people that, well,
we kind of say that in our family too. We're like, there's no secrets in this family. If one of y'all know, all 10 of y'all hoes know. Like, it's just ridiculous. I think we do have at least a boundary of like what we'll tell each other versus what we'll tell the parents. Like,
oh yeah, no, there's definitely that boundary. I'm talking about, like, I feel like there's no boundary between us.
Like the whole community?
Yeah. No, not the whole community. Just like the younger,
like your age group too?
Yeah. Like, you guys have your own business, we have our own business that we keep apart from each other. And like sometimes we'll like talk about it, but like at the same time we would never go to our parents, like we would never go to our parents and talk to them about that. Like, that's just like the last to talk about something.
I mean, we don't either. Don't get me wrong. We don't either. Like, that's not, we didn't grow up with that either. But sometimes I guess the way that I try to live my life is that because I knew I couldn't go to my parents about stuff, like they really didn't understand it. Like, I was always happy to have an older cousin that I could talk to, because they've already been through it. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I could talk to them about it and get game. I mean, of course, for me, it's different. The age gap is only 2 to 3 years. Versus for you guys, obviously our age gap is like 10 years, but I still try to like be cool and like let you guys talk to me if you want to. I just want to make sure that y'all felt like you could talk to us if you needed to. You know what I mean? Because I think those barriers suck.
Like, there's definitely some of you guys like in your generation that will go to the parents if they feel it's necessary, and I think that's dumb. Like, if we trusted you guys enough to come to you guys and ask you guys about personal stuff that's going on in our lives, like, that's so like rude of you to go to our parents and talk to them about that, because that's definitely happened to a lot of people I know. They try to go to their older siblings and like, oh, like this happened or I did this, and then they would go snitch on their parents, and then like the younger person will get in trouble. And it's like, wow, like that's why there's like a sense of we have our own personal life and a life that we could share with you guys.
Like, they broke your trust in that.
Yeah.
You guys, like, there's also like, we have that fear because you guys, without a doubt, you guys are closer to the parents than we are. Like, like you guys don't actually chop it up or something. So we're just like,
yeah, I guess it's called being old.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
yeah, no, I mean,
you just never know. And then,
like, you guys could say whatever you want in front of your parents, to your parents, about your parents, But the second, like, you guys think that us and your old generation are treated the same in your parents' eyes, but it's really not. You guys are treated a whole different way from us. You guys are treated with like more trust, more respect than us. Like, you guys, it's if you guys say something will happen, it's gonna happen no matter what. But us, it's everything we say is always questioned because we're not trusted with our parents.
How do you feel about it, Naomi?
I don't know what to say because I feel like I don't experience what like Febin and Yosef experience because like I'm the oldest.
Mm-hmm. So speak to what it feels like for you and yours. Like, how is it different for you?
With Betty, I always try to teach her like, cause lately I've been thinking like I know all Habashas like especially moms like to gossip a lot. Like they just say everything. So I try to tell Betty like not to end up like a Habasha mom, like not be the one aunt that's like always telling others' business to other people. You know what I mean? Cause like I hate gossip so much. So like I try to teach her how to be so.
Do you feel more respected to your parents? Sorry.
Do I feel more what?
Do you feel like your parents will trust you more than what Betty will ever have to say, even in like her older years?
Yeah, for sure.
See,
Because I feel like, cause like she's the youngest, and then also like I feel like I have a responsibility to be mature. Like my parents raised me and Betty to always be like, so, like, let's say like if we were to go to like a relative's house or like somebody else's house, we have to act a certain way. We can't be loud and like run around. And I think that's like why I'm the person I am today. Cause like why I'm so quiet is because I want people to perceive. I don't want people to perceive me as someone who's like immature. You know what I mean?
dang. Yeah. I feel like you were just coming from me there.
I mean, no, that's what I'm saying. It's interesting. That's why it's kind of like I feel like I'm almost proving a point that like the younger, like even though you guys are still the younger generation, right? The oldest kid and the youngest kid still get treated different regardless. Like, and I obviously relate more to Naomi. There's kind of this pedestal that you get put on when you're the oldest to like represent the family. Like, you know what I mean? Like your parents are just doing an amazing job raising you. I'm like, I'm going to say this and it's going to be controversial. What they're doing when they're doing that is not raising their children, it's controlling their children. You get to a point where you're like, dude, when you start to question it, and I know that for you, y'all might not be there yet, you start to question like why you behave a certain way, you know? And it's like your parents instilled this like fear that you can't do certain things because you're going to look like a bad kid, you know? Or, you know, people are going to talk about you, like how we were saying about them gossiping and being judgmental and stuff. But it's just unrealistic. Like kids are going to play, they're going to do what they do. Like they're going to say things that are mad funny, but like super inappropriate. Like it is what it is. And I feel like it does a disservice to all of us. Like, even though we're old, like we're still trying to like be a certain way around our parents. Like we're still like, it's like a flip. Like you switch the flip. Like when a Habesha parent walks in, all of a sudden you have center side. You're like, like you turn into this other person. And yes, you should have a level of respect for your parents, but you should still be able to be your own person and have your own personality.
I feel like it has like its pros and cons because like me like the way my parents raised me, it's like now I know like how I act is how I'm going to be perceived as. But like also like me now, like growing up, it's like I'm always gonna be the shy person, and it's like why am I perceived as someone who doesn't talk? It's like oh, it's because of the way my parents raised me.
Muta, I just wanted to reply to what you said earlier on how like you guys are put on a pedestal and like expected like, oh, like you guys are like representing your family basically. Like yeah, that happens, but at the same time, just because you guys are put on a pedestal, it doesn't mean that like we're not on there with you. Like we have to act the same way. Like we like you guys just can't act Sinasadat. Like you guys just can't have Sinasadat and then we're just crazy children. Like we have to we're up on that pedestal with you guys. But you guys have respect from everybody. You guys have like trust from everybody. Like you guys are never questioned. So that's why like if we think it's unfair, I know you think it's unfair, but also we do think it's unfair also.
Do you feel like it's like we gang up on you? Like your parents already question you and stuff, and then sometimes your older siblings will side with your parents instead of like siding with you too.
Like I have a lot of examples for that. Like,
Okay.
like,
You want to share?
okay, sure. I was just like one day, it was my friend's birthday. We were just trying to go to downtown and just like, watch a movie, walk around 16th Street Mall and stuff. I asked my sister, I'm like, oh hey Juan, like I'm trying to do this. Can you talk to the parents for me? And she was like, no. And I was like, do you have a reason? She was like, what are you gonna do at downtown at night? I was like, I just explained to you. She's like, no, you're not going. And I was like, so what do you want me to do? She's like, do something else. Like, so you want me to control somebody else's birthday? Like, that was just stupid. And then I go ask my mom, and then my mom's like, no. But if my mom says no, I could ask Halen. My mom will usually change her mind. But Halen was on the same page as my mom. So, like, I have nowhere to go. Like, last second, my friends are waiting for me outside of my house. I'm dressed in everything. I was like, yeah, sure, leave the house. And I was like, are you sure? Did you ask mom? And she was like, no, I didn't ask, but whatever. I was like, okay. Like, they will never question the older siblings.
Yeah, you're persistent.
You
Okay.
still told them to pull up.
Yeah, I told him to pull up. You think I was gonna stay home? Like, why do you not trust me enough for me to make my own actions? Like, it's downtown. Like, what else am I doing? I didn't know, like, it was such a big deal and, like, a problem in an argument to go somewhere with my friends.
Very interesting. Because on the flip side of that, we didn't have, you don't, like, I don't have a hey one. I am the hey one. You know what I'm saying? So when I was 15, 16, if I wanted to go out, I had to convince my parents myself. There was nobody else. There's no buffer. So it was like, do I want to go out? Oh shit. Okay. How do I prepare this? Like you have to go through all the scenarios in your head. Okay. Like who are you going with? What are you guys doing? Like all the questions that they're going to ask you.
I mean, yeah, we still have those questions though. Like that's not. There's no way. Like our parents are literally the exact same to you guys as they are to us, but in some scenarios even worse.
10 times worse.
Like literally, like we don't have trust between our parents. That's the problem.
But
so
here's what I was saying though. You have a buffer. So say your parents say no, and you can convince Haywan or Yafit to like help you and get them to say yes, then you got 50-50 chance there. Mine was like, if it's a no, it's a no. Like there's nobody that I can ask in between to be like, hey, can you convince mom to let me do this? No, there was no convincing. Like if I said it was okay, because like you said, there is the truth, right? That my parents trust me, right? If I said it was okay for my brother to go, then it was okay. But like there was nobody to do that for me. Like,
okay, but like when the older sibling says no, then what are you gonna do? Like
it's the same as your parents.
Obviously, I still got through that. Like that was like 5 times harder than what you had to go through. Like if your older sibling says no and your parents say no, that's like 5 times harder than what you had to go through when just talking.
But you had 2 chances, like where you could get a yes, whereas we did not have 2 chances. That like you're missing the part where I didn't have a buffer. There was no person in between me and my parents. So like the reason why our parents trust us because they didn't have a choice. Like I was the test dummy. I was the first kid. When you're the first kid, you're the test dummy. So they learn as they go, like the things that were okay. Like they gave me trust one time and I went out and I came back, nothing happened to me. They're gonna like give me more trust later. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm literally having to do the test dummy work for you guys. So then when it comes to you guys, sometimes when they say no, it's because this part is unfair, right? If I fucked up, then they're gonna say no to you guys too, because like I fucked that up. I'll take ownership as the older sibling for that, but it's just like there's not another person. There's a reason why there's like I think the older siblings sometimes have a closer relationship with the parents because there was nobody else for them to focus on, like besides us.
I think over time it's like there's more trust. So like when I first like went out with my friends, my dad was always like hesitant because he's never had to go through like sending his kid like out with like their friends, and so like throughout the years it's like been okay for him because there's nothing that's like ever happened. So I think it's just that it takes time
No, for real. I feel like for me, things did not start to make sense until I went back home to Adi. The struggle that we have with our parents in the Habesha community of them like not letting us go out. Like I'm telling you, like you guys know, your other friends don't have like all these hurdles to go through. Like they're like, oh, I'm going to my friend's house. It's like this normal thing for them. For us, it's like you have to create a whole campaign speech of like why you should be able to go. It's like this whole big ordeal, like, you know, this, that, and the third. And then when you go back home to Adi, you see why they're scared of America, because like over there they live in a community, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, all your neighbors, like everyone goes to each other's house type of situation. Most people are family. If they're not family, they're like you grew up with them. So it's like I can see why our parents hesitate more. So do you feel like that kind of helped you too, like going back to Adi and like understanding like why your parents are the way they are?
I mean, it for me personally, it flipped honestly, because like I went there and I had like all of this freedom. Like
Oh yeah.
I've had freedom that I've never had before. Like I had a lot of fun there because like we went to Mecca. First of all, I do. I'm sorry.
He's about to say some shit.
I will never go there again.
What?
That place.
I just had so much fun.
No. Makala, I had fun. Addis, I could barely breathe. So.
Oh, yeah,
why?
the pollution.
You don't see smoke in the air 24/7.
No.
Like somebody hotboxed the state. But anyways, yeah, it was like I had a lot of freedom in what's it call it, in like Makala, and I was like, wow, like they trust us enough to go in like a foreign country that I've actually only been to before when I was like 1, so I really don't remember anything.
Mm-hmm.
They trust us enough to go in a foreign country, but they don't trust us enough to go like places we were born, like a place we were born in.
But what you're hitting on is it's foreign to us because we grew up here. It's not foreign to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that to them is home. They know that you're safe. They know that like there's gonna be 20 people who know you who you are wherever you go. You know what I mean? They're probably getting phone calls. Oh, I just saw your son at this place. Da-da-da-da-da. Like they're not worried about you there because it's like you're with family. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You're with family. Like here, if you guys tell your parents you're going with Ruta, they don't question you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's because you're like, we're family. They question you when you're like, I'm going with Chris. Who the hell's Chris? Like, you know what I mean? Like they don't know this person. So it's like you start to see the difference of like how comfortable they feel there because it's familiar to them versus here. It's a whole new country, a different language. There's different rules. Like when you get in trouble here, they can't help you really. You know what I mean? If you get in trouble in Adi, like they know how that system works. So it's like, I'm not saying it's fair at all. It's just like, for me, it helped me understand my parents better. And then like that made my relationship with them better.
But that's what I was saying on like trust. Like they don't trust us enough to like, we know how stuff works out here because we were born here. So yeah. I think they should trust us enough to at least let us go out with our friends. Like we weren't raised the same as these kids here. We have a better understanding. We matured faster. That's a fact.
Okay, well, let me ask it this way. Naomi, do you still see Beatty as a little kid?
Yeah, for sure.
Even though she's like what, middle school now? Mm-hmm. You know what you were doing in middle school, but when you see her, you still see her as a little kid. So you're like, I don't like you can't even imagine Beatty getting into the stuff you're getting into.
Yeah.
So like that's the difference between like, I'm not saying you're mature, like, or not mature, you know, Yosef, like this is not me getting at you at all. So like, I want to be very clear about that. No. But you see, like, for us, so when we're older, like it's really hard for us to get the image of you as a little kid out of our head.
You know no, but I'm not talking about you guys. I know you guys have enough trust for us. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that our parents don't trust us enough. I feel like sometimes they should just be able to say, yeah, you guys are old enough to go through this. If anything happens, first of all, you guys didn't even have a way to contact your parents. Like it was very hard to contact your parents. You guys, I heard like you guys had like the 10-second thing on the quarter. Like talk really fast. So yeah.
Oh, first of all, your sister is not that old. So
I'm not talking about my sister. I'm talking about you, like your generation.
Okay. Anyways, go ahead.
So like you guys didn't have a way to contact your parents. Like we could just like it's always in our pocket, and yet we still don't have enough trust from them to be doing things.
Do you guys feel like your parents even give you the opportunity to earn their trust?
No, because they don't trust us to go out. How are we gonna earn their trust? You know?
Mm-hmm. Like personally, when you're the older one, you don't have a choice. Like they have to, like they give you so much responsibility that like you naturally just earn their trust after a while. Like if you just don't fuck up,
Yeah.
then they're just like, wow, look at my daughter go be sleep, da 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 da. Like they just gas you. But then when it comes to the younger kids, it will be like, bro, do you guys think I'm the only kid in the house? Like, nigga, there's 5 other kids here. Like, ask one of them to do it. But it's like the parents' natural reaction to ask the older kid. Do you ever get that, Naomi?
Yeah.
When you said, oh, you guys were expected to like, oh, go do this for your parents, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it works in your household, but in my household, it's always the youngest has to go do stuff for my parents. Like, oh, my parents need something, Yosef, go get it. Or like, my parents need something to be done, Yosef, come here. It's always Yosef. The only thing that they have Yafa or Hewan help them with is like online stuff. Otherwise, everything else in the household is on the youngest child. And they even said that too. They're like, back in Ethiopia, everything else, like if you were the youngest child, you were expected to do everything else. Like that's how it was. And I was like, what? Like that's weird.
So like what else for you all do you feel like you guys go through in your generation that you wish you didn't have to, or that you wish you could change?
Trust us more to have like to make our own choices. I want to make my own choices as a person. Like you could give me advice all you want, but don't stop me. That's what pisses me off.
Like here in Seattle, like there's kind of like a little bit of like animosity. There always has to be drama, and like I'm not the type of person to involve myself in that type of stuff because like it's so annoying.
People just are extra baggage.
I feel like if you're Habesha, you need like a Habesha friend group specifically, just like to relate to those people, like those people understanding what you're going through at home. Because there's always something happening. Like there's not one day in the Habesha household where everything is peaceful. Something's always happening. So I feel like having a Habesha friend group actually really helps with like our mental health. Like being 100% honest, like having those people that you could talk to. Like dang, like my mom did this today.
It's Habeshas talk so much, and they're so judgmental. Like, and it's like especially with the parents, you can tell like they put their pride above anything else. They don't want nobody knowing their business, but they know everybody's business.
That's very true. Do y'all feel like if there was less judgment and less gossiping, that you guys would be more open to actually like having conversations with your parents?
No.
Okay.
I don't even think it's like, but like I don't even think it's even our parents. It's like even like you guys. No, oh my God.
I was like, us?
Yeah, you guys like
you don't have to be disrespectful about it.
They're just so hard.
Yeah. It's like you have to watch what you say at all times, like if you're Habesha.
We're laughing because like it's true, but it's really sad because that's no way to live. I think that's why I kind of get myself in trouble because I do say whatever and I let you guys say whatever, and sometimes the parents don't like that. But I'm like, look, you either make open communication with them or be sad when something happens to them and you're so confused because God forbid your sweet innocent child like got into something,
For all the older people who are older than us, we can make our own decisions. Y'all I was gonna say that. To all the people my age, y'all the real ones. Like we all understand.
Well, I just want to say thank you all for coming on the podcast. Sometimes it's not easy to put yourself on camera like this and like talk about things, and I just wanted to make sure I gave you all the platform, and I just appreciate you guys so much for, blessing my podcast and sharing your views and your opinions. So thanks, y'all.
Thank you, Talk.
Hey Uprooted fam, I hope you enjoyed the video and all the other episodes thus far. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button down below, and that way you get notified of all the new episodes.